declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
It's not true. It doesn't matter what's true. It matters the story they tell when you're gone.
I keep on pushing down my gypsy road.
All right. Welcome everybody. Welcome to another exciting show on the Paranormal Highway. I got Dr. Wu kicking back. I got Bigfoot Anon Connor. I got Nas. Now, today's show, people, is a show about a person named Nas who claims he's a alien from another planet, and this is going to be up to you guys if you're going to believe if he's from another planet. I'm not here to make that decision for you. I am here to ask questions about where he's from, why he's here, what why do you look like us? Is it a human body? Is it DNA? So we're here to discover if our guest is from another planet or not. Like I said, I'm not here to tell any of you that he is or not. That's going to be up to you. This show is about having an open mind, and you get to make the decision for yourself. So it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of questions. And if you guys have questions yourself for our guests, for any of the guests that's on tonight, put it in all caps. Because if you put it in all caps, I'll be able to catch it. I'll be able to read it, because I'm going to be running a lot of different things on this channel. I'm also the engineering guy for this show. So guys, kick back, relax, and we're going to have a great time. And I'm going to play a short UFO intro while I get everybody up on stage. So guys, kick back, get some popcorn, get some coffee, get some beers, smoke some joints, whatever you got to do. Get ready. We're going to find out if we got people from another planet that's walking with us. All right, welcome everybody. Welcome Connor. Welcome Nas. Welcome Dr. Wu.
Welcome.
So like I said, tonight we got Nas, who I saw you on another channel. I saw you on Chad Smith's channel. And when I heard you talk about you're from another planet, I'm like, oh, I gotta jump on. Because I'm like, well, I didn't know you. That's the first time I ever saw you. So before we get into questions like why you're on Earth, what I always like to tell people, we're gonna kick back. We're gonna do the game where everybody knows you're an alien. Okay. Now you're gonna prove to us you are, but we all believe you're an alien. So at this point of the show, you're from another planet, correct? Can you?
I'm from a lot of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But can you tell us like the main planet or maybe galaxy or something that you tell us where you're from before you came to Earth to explore? Can you tell us?
Well,
Is
actually,
Krypton real? Is Krypton real, or is that just a rumor?
there have been a lot of planets like Krypton, but Krypton itself not real. The world I originally came from, there was never any human name for it because its star went supernova millions and millions of years ago. So a planet long gone before humans ever evolved. So this is what we're looking at, is that the original creators of life in this universe, the dragons.
Dragons?
And, yes. And I am one of the original dragons.
I thought it was like that.
But
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm just asking now, if you're from another planet, is the planet kind of like Earth in a way where there's a population there? Is there like people like
there used to be our natural dragon forms actually have a lot of variety to them.
You have challenge?
Much
Challenge?
In full beast form, yeah.
Cool.
So we've gone through a lot of variations, but like as we peered to different cultures on Earth and prehistory, that kind of thing, depending on the elements that we're associated with and things along those lines, we would have different forms that we would take. And when you look, even
not there no more. I think
correct.
It's not there. So did it explode? Did it?
Well, being the being the original life essentially in this part of the universe, our planet came up to a point of evolving sentient life, and then we achieved our transcendence, millions and millions and millions of years ago. And our star long since went supernova and destroyed the solar system that it was in, and became a new nebula when that happened. So our home world wasn't there, but like does happen in many universes, once you achieve transcendence, then as the energy beings that you are, you want to look out for other life that could be developing in the universe and cultivate other life in the universe, protect planets from extinction events that would stop them from achieving sentience, so that you're constantly increasing the amount of sentience in the universe. My cluster is responsible for the life in this galaxy.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Dragons, do they have a cloaca opening, or do they have actual junk? I'm serious. I mean, do they have a talking balls? Or are we talking cloaca opening?
With my cluster are the ones who actually do have the binary sex system. Yeah.
What is that? Oh, you have cock and balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. You don't have a cloaca opening. That would be weird.
But so like I said, supernova, I get that part. But with billions galaxy, billions of planet, why Earth?
Well, that's one of the things. So what we're coming at is that's always one of the big questions that humans have when they look at this subject, when they talk about, why would aliens come to Earth, that kind of thing. Aliens didn't come to Earth to see humans.
Oh,
we seeded life on the planet. We have been here since before humans were. We're the ones who, cultivated life and keep that system going. Our planets are beneath the crust, or our cities are beneath the crust of the planet. That's how we operate and keep things going there. Now, part of the reason that we maintain our presence here is that Earth was established as a genetic core of biodiversity for political reasons. Okay, so in this galaxy alone, there are a lot of different worlds that life has been cultivated on, that we've helped them come up towards sentience. And as sentience was coming up on these different planets, of course, xenophobia is something that is common.
What is xenophobia? What is that?
Fear of others that are not like you, like fear of other races,
like black
fear
people.
of other species,
like black people.
That's been a big thing.
Are you guys racist? You guys have black? Or is black dragons matter? Or you guys have different colors?
We do have different colors depending on what our specializations are.
Okay, red.
Yeah, and I'm green.
Oh, you're green.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Now, did you say you guys planted the life here on Earth so we could be here?
Yeah.
So why are we not looking like dragons and all that? Why we look the way we are? And then the guy's question would be vice versa for you. Why do you look like us?
Right.
If we're seeds from you guys.
Right. The life that we planted here, all of the biodiversity of all the different families of animal life are representative of all the different sentient species in this galaxy.
Oh,
Right. So you have family, genus, species in, how they measure animal life on this world, right? So each family represents one of the other sentient species in this galaxy, not even the whole universe, just this galaxy. And then through the speciation that happens, below genus, they're able to evolve as necessary for survival purposes of the region and temperate zone and everything that they're in.
Like bed bugs and dung beetles.
No.
That would suck, man. I would not want to be a sentient of that.
Yeah.
Imagine crabs, like crotch crabs. How would that work out? Ooh.
No, think more like the scarabs in Dune.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Psychic, sentient, large, gigantic. They don't need hands and things to do what they need
eyebrow
to do.
lice.
Right.
Like imagine if you were sentient from eyebrow lice. Oh.
Right.
So are there any religious figures from your cluster? Is Jesus Christ extraterrestrial or anybody that
Yes,
you confirm?
absolutely. Yeah. Jesus, the figure of Jesus was one of the incarnations brought out of hibernation for a temporary period.
Whoa.
Because of specific corruptions that were happening in matters because of interference from one of the other outside races.
Oh wow! So
Wow.
is there who else like Jesus we think there's somebody big, but they're not? Is Obama an alien? Is like
No.
the other ones?
No. As far as that stuff, there are other individuals.
I think Biden's an alien.
Barack Obama.
No, Biden's too dumb to be an alien.
Nah, he's human, man.
Yeah, he's human.
He's just a creepy old racist. There's nothing insightful about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
that's not a sentient being. I'd say that.
No, it's not an enlightened individual.
Backseat of sentient. Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of like Star Trek world, you guys researched this planet first, like a lot of all the planets, and then you went back to your planet. I mean, it almost sounds. I mean, it sounds weird. It almost sounds like when Bob said kryptonite. Now let's go back.
Yeah, it sounds like kryptonite
story in the Man of Steel story. Superman tribes used to be explorers around the galaxies and went to different galaxies.
Yeah,
and then they planted like in the movie, they had a ship planted in the sky, and then when they went back, they destroyed their own planet. They ran all the resources. They controlled birds.
Destabilized their core by harvesting the thermal energy. Yeah, and that's happened to a lot of worlds, and a lot of the subconscious elements of the things that have happened elsewhere in the universe make their way into the public consciousness and the entertainment systems and stuff like that. There's so much overlap that happens with it when people inadvertently connect to that consciousness stream.
So how many aliens would you say, different species that you know of throughout the galaxies?
Anunnaki.
There are a lot. It's the stuff that's going on with modern pop culture with regard to aliens, with the few that they talk about, is nothing compared to what there actually is. Like I said, when you look at every family of animal life that exists on Earth, represents one of the species of alien life just in this galaxy.
So there's more crabs.
Yeah, and there are over 400 billion other galaxies in this universe. So
like venereal diseases.
So how many other alien species come here beyond your guys' tribe?
Are here beyond ours. Currently, I think we have in the neighborhood of 50 that are actively involved with the cultural anthropology of Earth.
Oh, wow.
And there are thousands of participants that are involved in that process. And once you factor in the starseeds, the numbers get into higher digits there.
Wow.
So
do they have doctorates? Or are they just like undergrads? Like they send out undergrads?
It depends on what their role is.
Yeah.
With all the different species that get involved, we have those like us that we've been around for millions of years. So we're in the positions of logistics and organizing where everyone goes, what they're doing, placing them where they need to be,
Now,
perfect,
maintaining the defense grid and everything.
Like you go to jail.
In the movie, They Live. They
yeah.
put on sunglasses, and they these special sunglasses. You can see the aliens hidden behind us.
See 'em.
Is there anything that myself, Connor, Bob could put on to see your true self of you? Like, what
he's a damn green alien.
Okay, you're telling this
you're
story,
normal.
and like I said, I'm not here to say your story's wrong or right.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But how can any physical proof you could do like for us? Is there any way like give us a pair of glasses to see your true self, or
can you make an egg?
If you're next to Connor, can you touch him?
Make an egg.
He'll be able to see your true self. If a non-believer goes to you, how could you convince him beyond words?
Well, that's one of the things I'm actually currently working with some of the witnesses that are familiar with my abilities because they've experienced them in order to get video recordings of their statements.
Cool.
From
witnesses?
times that I've used those. No, definitely.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm talking about their God Jehovah. I didn't. Yeah, they did. There's no pun intended on the Jehovah Witness.
Yeah.
Now,
They
I would not want Jehovah's Witnesses watching me.
Hobbs wrote. I know we kind of touch on this. Hobbs wrote in the chat. He wrote in all caps. Where do you come from? So what he means, we talk about this planet, but is there a name for this planet?
No, because let's put it this way.
Cool. Right now.
On Earth, of all the species that are in existence, how many are capable of formulating the collective of sounds that the modern human mouth makes?
Not many.
There's just one that can do it, and there are a few other like avian species that can emulate the sounds, even though by frequency construction it's not actually the same sound. And humans are just one of a million animal species on this planet. So the concept that anywhere else in the galaxy, much less the universe, we're going to be identifying anything with a naming sequence that means anything whatsoever in accordance with the structures of human concept is just ridiculous. That existing in every form of sci-fi and everything is so frustrating to me. It's like, oh yeah, so someone comes to the planet that's never been here before. They have a name that's constructed of the 26 letters of the English alphabet in the common modern form of English, even though they've been around for millions. Sure.
Yeah.
Go slap yourself.
Can you do Sanskrit? Can you write? You guys probably started Sanskrit.
Way back when.
Yeah.
I don't have that installed in my current software program.
Nobody does that. Like they stopped doing cursive. Calligraphy is now gone, so that type of writing is completely.
We got another question.
Oh, cool.
Danny Staten, what is the alien's favorite state to live in?
My favorite state is back in Washington State.
Why is that? Is that like close to the environment of your planet?
Yes.
In this lifetime, that's where I was born. That's where I lived my entire life until I flew out on Halloween of last year to come to Ireland for the asylum program.
Now,
I defected from the United States.
You say you were born and raised here, so I'm just trying to put pieces together.
Washington.
If you're from another planet, what do you mean you were born here? If you're from another planet, how were you born here?
Okay. So the way that we operate, like the Starseed program, a human body is incapable of hosting a transcended consciousness.
Oh,
because the moment that you achieve transcendence and you connect to the pool of consciousness, you expand so far beyond what a human body is capable of hosting that you could not just be reincarnated as a human and have that be intact. So what happens is that when we reinsert with other biological forms that are capable of hosting the enhanced self, we have a parent form, and then when a body is prepared that has genetic modifications so that it can host more consciousness than a standard human body could, then we essentially connect a tether from our core being to that developing body, and we use it as an avatar.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So-
Just like when you're playing a video game, you use
Yeah.
it as an avatar to
Here's a
conduct
question.
work
So,
on that
so
world.
let's say you're Connor's a baby. I bet you Connor was born with the long hair too. How long hair? Now, say you use his body.
Mhm.
What happens to Connor's soul? I mean, when you take over an avatar, does that
we don't
die?
we don't take over one that has a soul. Like with this life, I inserted into a life that was being sparked in someone in the royal bloodline.
So it was dying. You were dying. It was like you jumped into a dead person.
What do you mean?
No.
So the body. Are you saying that
so-
some bodies are born without a soul?
No. Souls are a different complicated thing. But what I'm talking about is that we established the royal bloodlines so that there would be humans that when they breed would have children with the genetic potential of hosting the greater energy forms we need necessary.
Oh, the RH negative.
For us
RH
to
negative blood.
That is part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, RH negative blood. Yeah.
And within the royal bloodlines, when we need to insert another one of us here, we have a breeding occur and we are tethered to that. There is no human consciousness, no human soul that actually grows in that body as it develops and is born into life here. So we're in charge of that vehicle from the moment of conception.
But you're still a dragon with male genitalia.
Actually, my dragon doesn't have male genitalia. That's the other.
You have a cloaca opening.
I'm the in between. I am the both male and female.
Like our older brother. Our older brother was transitioning.
Yeah.
We had a transitioning older brother.
Yeah. So this life I was born in to live the female transgender life.
Yeah, our brother did that.
Yeah. So within our cluster, there are 7. There are 3 male, there are 3 female, and then I am the center point between the two of them. Where I, depending on the life that needs to be lived, I switch in where I can be, having the male function, having the female function. This life I needed to come in specifically doing the female transgender life because I needed the Y haplogroup and the maternal X haplogroup for the 2 royal bloodlines that had to come together in order to do the work that I needed to do.
Oh, cool.
So the body that you're in, was there a soul in that body? You said they said that soul you're in didn't have a soul, correct?
No. The moment that life was sparked for the fertilization of this egg, I was tethered to it already. There was no spawning
if you
of
wanted
a
to.
human.
If you wanted to, could you just leave Earth and go to another planet and start over there, or how long do you get to live for? I mean, do you? I die probably. I'm probably dead in 10 years, 15 years. Who knows? But
he died a couple of times.
Higher lifespan, or
Eric died a couple of times.
Or does your body gonna die one day and you zap yourself out into another body?
Each time that we experience body death, the normal thing is for us to return to our pool, right? The collective energy form that our own transcendent species exists in together. And whenever that happens with any starseed, everything that they've experienced in the totality of their life instantly gets downloaded as consciousness to all of the rest.
Wow.
It's how we keep track of everything that happens on the planet. When we have, starseeds from all the different transcendent races we work with that are inserted to every culture all around the earth, then as they go through their life cycles, we're keeping track of everything. We know what's happening on earth, so that when we have circumstances like what's happening now, one of the royals can be brought out of hibernation to go serve up some smackdown and put things in check and stop extinction from happening.
Wow, very good.
It's got to work that way.
So you're an RH negative then. That's what we have to assume that because And so are you an A, B, O, or A, B?
I don't even remember. Yeah.
Oh, that's a hard one to forget. But yeah.
Or Beyonce, her sister's RH.
Yeah.
It's just part of the stuff I don't keep track of. A lot of the minutia details that Others are responsible for, because I'm responsible for the ancient libraries.
Yeah, I always tell people I'm an O negative. I was in the military, and if I don't get my same blood, I die. So I let everybody know. Like, I put a poster up in the house. If I were to get hurt, I'm O negative. I still wear my dog's at.
Nas, have you watched, the Matrix and Sense8, and like, do you identify with the show? Is it accurate?
Oh, absolutely. And there is a lot going on with those. They're connected to each other, of course, because the Wachowski sisters are behind both of them. And they have definitely tapped into a lot on the consciousness. Like Sense8 is a lot like the connection that exists between my cluster.
That's what I was thinking, right? When you said 7, how it all connects. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
They were transitioning the brothers. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the trans woman that was in Sense8, she was actually dating Keanu Reeves for quite a while.
Wow. Whoa.
Yeah, they were a good item.
Didn't know that.
Which is just another plus for me on the Saint Keanu scale. He doesn't give a fuck. It didn't matter that she was trans. She was just a beautiful woman with a beautiful soul, and they had a good relationship.
Well, we got some. Let me see here. Oracles Beyond, O positive. Danny says he's O negative.
Another one.
Marty says he's O positive.
Yeah, and I'm going to grab something while you do that.
So we got some people giving us their blood types.
How many negatives are in there? Because you're a dragon.
Yeah.
There's a dragon in here, dude.
Yep. So here is part of the interesting stuff that
Matt
you guys
is
are going to
positive.
Oh.
Now, Nas, if you look at Connor and you look at Dr. Wu up there, can you tell if they were ever abducted? I've been hearing stories of people being abducted without even knowing they've been abducted. Are you able to look at somebody and say if they've been abducted, and if yes, is it your people abducting them?
There are races that are under our guidance that have been doing some procedural work. Abduction is a horrible term because it implies that there is a violation of consent involved with it. Nice.
I know. I want some turkey.
I'm just showing Brown Dwarf. You guys keep up your important talk.
So when it comes to the concept of people being involved in going and participating with the Celestial Alliance and the work that we're doing here, right, is that the moment somebody comes into a circumstance where they are interacting with the Celestials and they are subjected to the deeper knowledge streams and the psychic connection and what we use for communication is true empathy, right?
Oh, okay.
Like not psychic where you're sending words back and forth or sending pictures back and forth that works like a conversation. That's psychic, right? True empathy is complete understanding and experience of what the other has experienced.
Wow.
That is the true empathy that we communicate with.
Oh.
So when somebody comes and experiences things with one of us in that environment, they suddenly know, okay, this is something where I want to help this. I want to help the mission. I want to be part of what's necessary for stewarding the planet. Let's do this. Do what you need to do. I'll give you what I need to give you. But maintaining that sort of experience after the fact and that sort of knowledge after the fact would destroy their lives when interacting with the other humans and things about them. So the fullness of that knowledge that they have had during that experience has to get knocked back down. Wow. But it's in their own consent that happens.
No, right? Now, Nos, let me ask you this. Somebody in the chat wrote something very interesting. He goes, I was all positive before the war. After the war, I somehow got A+ blood. Still trying to figure that out. Now, Black Dragon's apparently after war, his blood has changed.
The Mandela effect.
Would you
interesting
have a reason why a human might have had a blood change by any chance? I'm just asking for him.
Well, Dr. Wu nailed it. It could have been during one of the realignments of the timeline. So Yeah, the Mandela effects themselves are directly the result of changes that we've been making in the timeline.
Oh,
Manifesting.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Hold on.
So
Now, are
Earth
we making-
has.
So let's back
Earth
up for a
has-
second. So are we making
Yeah.
claims that we actually know what's causing? Because we always had different theories of
Mandela effect. Yeah.
time travel, parallel universe, multiverse. So what I'm hearing from you is your people are responsible for the Mandela effect.
You are.
Yeah, we are.
Oh.
So here's one of the things is that we are on
knew
the
it.
First, people.
we're on the 15th version of this timeline. Okay, we've gone through the last couple of centuries repeatedly, and humans keep completely destroying the planet. I'm not talking about climate change. I'm talking about the planet no longer existing. There is nothing left to recoup. And we're at that point again, which is why I've been brought out of hibernation.
Wow. So you have the Mandela effect. Eric and Connor are both really locked into Mandela. I don't care for it. I don't do it. I don't know what that is. But I remember the Statue of Liberty being on that weird star fort the whole time, forever.
Yeah, the Statue of Liberty on the previous version of the
They said it moved.
timeline was on Ellis Island.
Ellis Island.
And now it's on Liberty Island.
Yeah, it's weird.
With the repeats of the timeline that we've been doing, unfortunately, the timeline is no longer stable.
Oh,
we can't do another repeat of the timeline if we allow things to continue where humans destroy the planet.
Yeah,
we wouldn't be able to go back and do it again without humans just having complete psychological breakdown from the time distortions that happen, because they're already perceiving the changes of time that are happening. But it's not just that they're perceiving the changes of time that are happening. As the timeline catches up from changes that have occurred, the physical quantum locking of experiences on Earth is not catching up to the timeline changes.
Yeah.
So like the Statue of Liberty is on Liberty Island now. If you go back and you watch the movie Splash with Tom Hanks and was it Bo Derek?
But this blood type
whatever her
can
name
change,
was.
although it's rare. Renaissance infection can spark a change as well as marrow transplant. So somebody has a reason why the blood can change. I'm just repeating it.
Yeah. But with the movie Splash with Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah, when she's a mermaid and she swims up on the island, he's on Ellis Island. Yeah, she's on Ellis Island, and even the newspaper that they take a photo of in the movie shows the Statue of Liberty and says Ellis Island on it.
Ellis Island.
And when the timeline caught up, that did not change. The information in the movie did not update with the timeline. So that still exists in that movie, which doesn't match the reality of now, which is Liberty Island. Now, here is where it connects to one of the other Mandela effects. And this is me teaching you guys something about how this is all.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Mandela effects. You could give us a little bit of tell people on the sidebar. Yeah.
So Berenstain Bears, that situation. And Eric knows what I'm talking about.
Berenstain Bears.
Yeah. In the original timeline, it was EIN. Okay. Now, the author for those books, it was, if I'm remembering right, it was his grandfather who came in as a refugee and came in through the processing center at Ellis Island.
Wow.
Okay. Now, in the original timeline, when that happened, when he came in under Ellis Island, the Statue of Liberty was there on Ellis Island with him. So imagine that you're a refugee, you're coming into the United States, you're afraid because there's been all this persecution of the Jews where you came from, and you are Jewish, okay? But here you are standing in line, waiting to go through your processing and sign the book on Ellis Island. But the whole time that you're standing in queue with all these other people looking for a new life in America, you are gazing up at this titan of peace and justice and hope and freedom, the Statue of Liberty hanging over you the entire time. And when that happened in the original timeline, when he went in and signed the book, he signed it with his name with the proper spelling, which was EIN. Okay.
Steen,
Steen. Yeah. And when the timeline changed and the Statue of Liberty was on Liberty Island, way out there in the harbor, not on Ellis Island where they were waiting in the queues to go through their processing.
Yeah.
He was still feeling the fear from the persecution of the Jews from where he came from. So he did like a lot of the Jews did when they went through processing at Ellis Island, and he changed the spelling of his name to AIN to conceal the fact that he was Jewish. And this was a common practice for a lot of them. So because the Statue of Liberty wasn't there, he wrote his name with the AIN. But if you go look up the history for his family, you find out that the true name for the family was EIN. And it was changed when he signed in at Ellis Island.
That's German for rock. So that means rock. Yeah.
Yes. So these Mandela effects are connected to each other. One change causes something else, and it's the chain of these things getting noticed. So you have to look for the connections between them.
But how do we know which one is a true effect versus one that is made up?
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Well, have you ever heard of the monocle? Eric, what was the monocle man one? I don't even know.
Monopoly.
Yes. Yeah, he has a monocle.
Yeah. Moneybanks doesn't have a monocle anymore. Yeah. Mr. Moneybanks.
Yes.
Moneybanks, whatever his name is. Yeah, it doesn't
have
a monocle.
That's
but like I'm saying, Eric, in this timeline, we know physically right now the Statue of Liberty is on Liberty Island, right? It's not on Ellis Island with the big, 10-pointed star under it. But if you look at the movie Splash, the physical evidence is there of it having been on
mermaids.
Ellis Island because of that.
I'm trying to remember. Now you said you guys caused it. I think you're saying you guys are the reasons.
Yeah, how are you doing that? You're messing things up.
Yeah, changes that we have intentionally and unintentionally made on the timeline end up having ripple effects that resonate out across other things.
Apparently so.
But thing is, I think I'm getting at is why even make changes? What are you guys doing? Trying to change?
We're making changes.
There's a TV show about where time gets out of whack, and the guy would travel to fix it. There's Quantum Leap. There's Voyagers.
Oh yeah.
Is that what you guys are doing? Being like the Quantum Leap and Voyagers, trying to correct these times, and because of that,
Voyagers.
Right. Yeah, Quantum Leap was wonderful. But like all the Star Treks, they end up doing time travel stuff. But what we're looking at is that we went through on the original timeline for Earth. Planet ended up getting completely destroyed. So we go back to a certain point in the series and then start going forward and making changes, trying to keep things from being noticed that we're actively making changes, because we're trying to give humanity the opportunity to get out from underneath the corruption that has happened as the result of the involvement of one of the malevolent species.
But now, if I play devil's advocate, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. So you got some abilities to make corrections. So with that ability, how come we allow Hitler to stay? How come we didn't stop him or other different people? How come we didn't?
Absolutely. And that's a great question. This is one of those things that always comes up.
Yeah.
It's because what you want to do to yourselves is your business.
Okay.
If humans want to kill humans want to torture humans, you can be as shitty as you want to. You're not getting anywhere near entering the Celestial Alliance when you do it. But that's you doing you. But what comes down to the steps and changes that we've been making to try to help human consciousness along.
You're doing great.
There are a million other species on the planet working towards sentience. You got to get rid of the geocentrism concept that the humans are the pinnacle of everything, and realize that not too many tens of thousands of years ago, humans did not have sentience. Okay. They had to arrive at being a sentient species, right? But every other species on the planet is working towards that as well.
Okay.
Right. Well, you have other species that are starting to use tools.
So we got hope. We got a chance.
Somebody wrote a question in capitalized letters. Like I told them, if you guys, you have a question, capitalize your letter so I can know you're asking a question. What was the date in the original timeline that the destruction happened?
Good question.
In the original timeline, the destruction happened back. Let's say before the turn of the century. we'll go there with it. But there have been 4 of them, or there have been 14 total destructions of the planet. And this time it was supposed to happen in 2012, but I've been doing behind the scenes work with manipulating things. Been having a battle with US intelligence services. Yeah.
So you manifest. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I mean, getting extraterrestrial benefits out of like meditation or, you know, smoking pot, LSD.
Oh, yeah. Pot is actually the best thing for me. Like for me, pot should be considered, recommended daily allowance, essential nutrients. Because like I will access the consciousness stream, which gives me the ability to pull any information, any answer to anything that I'm looking for. But that information flows through me. That is beautiful. Yep. The information flows through me so fast because, dealing with a mostly human, not completely, but mostly human body. But the information goes through so fast that latching onto the components that I need and pinning those down so that I can follow those threads is a lot harder because my consciousness exists on a macro scale.
Okay.
Right.
I see big.
I see big.
I don't know math.
Big. Yeah. Okay. Micro is like microscope and macro is big.
I get them confused. I can't even spell right.
I'm just curious. This is not really a question, but somebody wrote on the White House live cam yesterday, there was an orange light above the building. Anyone notice that? Laugh out loud.
What?
Oh, I didn't see it.
White House has a live cam. That. I didn't even know White House had a live cam.
Somebody find that and send it to us, please. I want to see that. They got a picture.
I didn't know they had a live cam. Is this a live cam you could access on YouTube or something? I mean, why would I want to watch the government anyway? But I'm curious. Right. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Nos, do you do extraterrestrial work in your dreams? Is that when you get to access other planets?
No, my dreams I will usually use for processing information that was too much for me to do in conscious form. Like I will have prophetic dreams constantly, or I will use the dream.
Are you going to give us some? Are you going to give us some?
I can. I often use the dream time to run simulations. Like I'm looking at all the different changes I could make, how I'm going to get through this process, whether I'm going to let humanity survive the next few years or not, and looking at what changes, what options I'm going to give. And then for the dream, I'm running a simulation of what that outcome is going to be.
Did you say you're going to make the decision if we're going to live or not?
Yes.
Wow. Do you believe you should have that kind of power to
look? He's our friend. You're our friend, right?
I'm just asking. Do you feel like you should have that kind of power over us to be able to choose what we live or die?
That's a power.
Well, as the ones who seeded life on this planet in the first place, absolutely. Yep. But let's put it this way: you're all familiar with the trolley problem.
I don't know. Trolls, like trolls.
The trolley problem. It's a sociological experiment. Right.
No.
If you have a trolley that's going down a track and like you have 4 people on the track, but there's 1 person on a side track. If you throw the switch, you can make the trolley change over to the other track. Only 1 person dies instead of 4.
Oh,
do you throw the switch?
Like Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Like remember Mr. Rogers had the train.
Yeah, he had the trolley, which was great.
It's a good example, right?
It is a good example, yes. But this is a sociological experiment.
And he had a Mandela effect.
If the trolley just goes on its own and you don't do anything, 4 people are going to die. But if you throw the lever, consciously, you're responsible for the specific 1 person that dies on the other, but you saved 4.
Wow.
So that's the trolley problem. Do you throw the switch?
I kill everybody equally. I was in the military.
Right.
Just
so
lay them out.
Okay.
And figure them out later.
So then
that was a good guy.
Let's say there are 1 million people on one track and there's only 1 person on the other. Are you going to throw the switch so that the trolley only kills 1 person and saves the other? Can
you rig them both to go?
Hold on. Somebody wrote something in capitalized letter. Somebody wrote, did you say you prevented the Earth from its 2012 destruction date?
Holy shit. That's a heavy toll. Yeah. He's on our show, guys. Thank you.
It's
You
more than
got
that. I've got the documentary trail behind all the stuff too. It gets ugly. I was tampering with stuff. I controlled the U.S. Supreme Court, put things into their mouths, but this is all.
Here's a question then.
I want to hear these stories.
So say you make that decision, you're gonna destroy Earth. Forget these people. But you like me, you like Connor, you like Dr. Wu. Could you send us to another planet if you wanted to?
Won't need to go to another planet. So here's what's going on currently.
Send me to a Hooters.
Is that when we establish life on a planet and it's accelerating, we've determined that life has gotten to a point where we're going to preserve the evolutionary path of the life that's evolving there. We set up a defense grid on the planet. Okay.
Oh.
So we put our nodes and base stations and cities there for us to operate from, but these radiate a grid of gravitational anomalies that are perceivable all around the planet, so that other species that are capable, any species that's capable of interstellar or interdimensional travel, has to be able to detect gravitational anomalies, because gravitational anomalies can collapse warp fields. They can collapse spaceship fields.
A better question, and that's what he wrote. Better question: why prevent the Earth from destruction in 2012? Why prevent it? If you're gonna make a decision to destroy it now in the future, why prevent it from 2012?
Because there's a misconception that's going on, in that letting humans die is not the same thing as destroying the Earth. Letting humans die saves the other million species.
I can see
that's the troll.
That's
That's
kind
the
of like the Thanos theory in Marvel, right?
Yeah.
You kill half the planet, the other half is the planet's gonna thrive again because we got rid of half the population.
Yeah,
I mean that's technically Thanos. Throughout the galaxy. Let's get rid of 50% of all people.
And he was right.
Wow.
But it's worse than that, because here's something that, in the American system, information that you're not being subjected to. In the last 50 years, 70% of all animal life on the planet has been destroyed.
Hunted, eaten,
the loss of environmental territories, pollutions, the destruction of the coral reefs, everything else.
You're true there.
70% of all life on the planet in the last 50 years.
But let's think about this.
We won't survive until the people that are on the planet right now get to their old age and die. There would be nothing else alive on the planet.
That's true.
Humans have to be stopped.
Technically, aren't you? I mean, that's true. That's true. We shouldn't be killing our animals like that. We shouldn't. But technically, aren't you doing that? If you kill us off, we're animals.
Oh,
you're doing the same thing to us.
No, because it's the
Eric, don't piss him off.
I want to dive into this.
He's got the power to kill us, man.
No, he's not upsetting me. We have good communication. He knows that he's just asking an intellectual.
I didn't want to die.
I'm not afraid to ask questions. To learn something, you really got to dive into these questions, and not to upset anybody. But
and Eric and I established a good relationship when we were working together the other day on our dynamics and everything.
I was worried.
So when it comes to this, it goes back to the trolley problem. Okay, so if you have one track with 1 million people on it, but each one of those people represents an entire family and genus of animals on the planet, and the other track, the one person represents humans. So I can throw the switch on the trolley,
the animals,
take out the humans and save the other million species of life on the planet.
Screw them.
Or if I don't throw the switch, then all of those animals are going to die, and the trolley's going to loop around and kill humans because they can't survive without all the other.
Can we eat the animals after we kill them?
I got a simple question. This is a simple one.
That's a good question.
This is a simple one. Since you know about the animals and humans, what's the question? There's a lot of people in the Bigfoot community that's in the chat right now. What's a Bigfoot? And a simple question. What is a Bigfoot? Is he an animal? Is he a human? Or is he a wormhole from another planet?
This is biological remnant from our God times. Okay, so back when we originally appeared, other celestials that came to steward life all around the world. Some of us appeared as dragons, and some as other types of beings with being sentient animals and that kind of thing. And as humans got more out of their cave dwelling days, because we were teaching them agriculture and how to build and things like that, then they needed someone that they could relate to more so that they could learn stewardship and maternal caretaking and those kind of things. So we went from our original animal forms to hybrid forms, right? Look at the statues in Egypt of Anubis and Thoth and Set,
Like
where and the centaurs and the minotaurs.
Centaur.
Yeah, where we're half animal, half human, so that they can see something they relate to, but they still go, this is so much greater than us.
Godzilla.
Right? And this is all over the world. And then you go forward a little bit more in time, and the gods that were guiding humanity had human forms. Right? We went through this gradual evolutionary process. Now, to do that, we had to put our genetics from our origin forms into the human system
The RH negative
in order for that hybridization to occur. But guess what? You still have humans being born sometimes with vestigial tails, don't you?
Yeah.
Or webbed fingers and webbed feet, or six toes and six fingers. Okay, and so that those genetics come up. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm weird. I am bad. I have no filter. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. The females, though, your females can't mate with the RH positive males because they reject the fetus, correct?
So in the human system, they can, but what happens is if you get a placental abruption, then the Rh positive blood from the fetus will back channel feed into the bloodstream of the mother.
Yeah.
And the Rh positive cells will cause blood clots that could kill her. Okay. So, back like 50, 60 years ago, they started using medications that would prevent the mother from experiencing death from this, like one of those was diethylstilbestrol.
Oh, yeah.
There have been a lot of them over time. To prevent the blood clotting that could occur if there was a placental abruption, that sort of thing.
Who is Corey Good? Somebody said, ask if he knows Corey Good. I don't even know Corey Good. Am I supposed to?
Is it Kari or Corey?
He wrote.
Corey Good.
He wrote.
Oh, no.
Corey Good.
Ask if he knows
Corey
Good.
Not familiar. No.
So there was a problem in the past with the females mating with the positives. The negatives were mating with the females, but males could do, I guess, imagine anything, right? Because the males, if you're an RH positive male, like if I was like a big ass green dragon like you, and I'm RH negative, I can nail anything, right? But the women can't.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where the difficulty would come in, is that like in our original dragon form, taking on a form and mating with a human male, as dragon female, we could lay a clutch of eggs, right? So there could be multiples, and just in the rookery, we could have a lot of eggs going.
A lot of eggs.
Once we got into the hybrid forms where it's partly human form, then the females can only have, live births of maybe 1, 2, or 3 at a time. Whereas the males of the species can breed with a lot of females in the human line in order to get more of the genetics out there. So you had more spreading of the genetics amongst the human lines. But that's also, if you study human genetics and the haplogroups, it's the reason why you see fewer divisions in the female haplogroup and, like 5 times as many divisions in the Y haplogroups.
I just want to give an update. The name that was said earlier is a guy from Ancient Aliens. Says a lot of the same stuff. So Ancient Aliens is a Discovery Plus show.
Right.
Discovery Channel. So that's where that name came from.
Got it.
That's
cool. So there's always been this weird thing about, not weird, but reptilians. I always hear the word reptilians a lot. Like the British family, they're reptilians.
They're not, but they're in league with them. So let's give you the skinny on the full reptilian thing.
Okay.
What is that like? What is that like? Do you defecate like a normal human or like a reptile?
Well,
I would
human
anthropology.
form, so that's the way I'm doing things.
Okay, cool.
Anthropologist,
because
Yeah, but from the beast form of my origin form. By the way, my origin form, my full green dragon form, is here on Earth. It's in one of our underground cities. So yes, there are dragons on Earth right now.
There are actual dragons in this Earth.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, and you're one of them. Well, your avatar. You're saying you have an avatar that's a dragon in the Earth.
No, I'm an avatar of the dragon. The dragon is my parent form. I'm piloting multiple bodies on the planet right now.
Oh, that's freaky. Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah. So I lost track. What was that question, Eric?
Oh my god, I almost forgot. But let's go back to the other question that I asked. Like going back on who's alien, who's not. But if you, Dr. Wu and Connor, if you look at them, have they ever been abducted without them knowing that they've been abducted?
Oh, on that, it's I can't tell without actually being around them.
Okay.
So as far as that, like reading energy directly, it's one of those things where it's easier to tell. There are also, a lot of people that don't know that they are one of us.
Let me ask this. I know we talked a little bit. We talked a little bit about this when you were on Chad Smith's channel, because you told me you do have an ability where if you're up close, not through YouTube or social media, but if you're up close to somebody, like if you're up close to Connor, you can change his mind to think the way you want him to think.
Oh.
And then I asked you, instead of killing everybody in the world, why don't you and all your people get together, find these governors, find these presidents, and use your abilities to force the changes from within, so you don't have to kill 70% of us?
I would do that.
So here's what it's coming down to, is that when a planet comes up and you gotta step out of the geocentrism for a moment and not think about Earth, but all the planets that have life coming up on them, right? And when sentience occurs and they move towards a step of getting to the point where they're ready to reach out to the stars and be a part of something greater, that level of consciousness and sentience that a species has when they get to that point, if they're capable of that and being proper stewards, then we allow them to come out and join the rest of everything that's out there. And they become a member of the Celestial Alliance, and they help steward life on other worlds, right? And that's what I want for humanity to be able to do. But with all the technologies and everything that I've offered to the EU, that's where it would lead if they take it up. But the thing is that if humans can't establish that they're capable of fighting back against the influence of one small group of reptilians that have been stranded here for millions of years, if they can't fight off the influence of that and they can be that easily manipulated to destroy their entire ecosystem, they have no business getting beyond the Oort cloud. They should never be allowed outside of their solar system. So the thing here is that this is all a test of what humanity is capable of, whether you can join the Celestial Alliance or not. And in the documents, and like you got the email that I sent that's got that archive connection with the documents that I provided the EU and stuff. So it shows the technologies that I've offered them, what I'm going to give them on guiding them through technological developments. Wow. I will give them actual biological immortality, right? I'm literally offering them the world. They just have to be willing to stop the destruction that's happening. I am giving humans the chance at everything. I will make you immortal. I will give you the deep space travel. I will show you how to terraform Mars.
What if I don't want it? I mean, I don't want it.
Oh, you don't have to take it. I mean, the technology,
yeah.
the technology behind
I got my own ways. I'm chilling. I'm actually relaxed. I'm relaxed.
We all know what the number one problem the whole world is.
What is it?
Greed. People with power, people with money want to keep power and money. Money is the greed to all things. Money is what gives people power to control other people. So technology is nice, but but it's the money. Trump would have been president if he wasn't a millionaire.
So well, I mean, isn't technically, Eric? Isn't every U.S. president that's ever been up there in RH negative blood? So then they are in fact dragons, right?
No, it's not that everyone with RH blood is a dragon. It's just that we established bloodlines in which star seeding can occur, right?
Oh, there's a ranking
so that there is so that there's a potential population available in which star seeds can be born, and races that just recently achieved transcendence can be born into more common ones. Ones that are of the higher power require the royal bloodlines.
Okay.
Well, let's say this. Well, let's say this. So, so going forward, going in the future, what do we need for you to not to destroy us? Can you just sit there with Connor, smoke a joint with them? Would that be good enough? Or what do people need to do enough?
Okay, so
what is the date you're gonna destroy us if we don't say no?
Not giving them that, because humans like to delay, and if they delay, they pay.
I mean, you're not delaying. When's your plan to destroy us if we don't ship up?
No, it's already been activated. So what we have here, there's three different potential outcomes that are currently on the slate. Whoa. So the defense grid that we have in place that keeps malevolent species from coming and harvesting humans already has a timer that has been activated on it for it to shut down. All the nodes shut down, the signal shuts down, and the malevolent species out there know that Earth is no longer a protected ecosystem. And if they want to come scoop the humans up, which they will do, they will go ahead and harvest them. That's what's going to happen unless I change the timer. I have to be given reason to change the timer.
How do we
delay on it, or eventually cancel the timer out?
How do we kill them?
How do we choose you to change the timer? What do we need to do for you? Did you late? Did you woman die?
No, I gave that up like 15 years ago.
You want a truck, a minivan, a Winnebago?
So what we've got going on is that there are three potential outcomes, right?
Yep,
if humanity doesn't step up, there's going to be a full grid shutdown. Humans are going to be gone. The star seeds that are here and the other celestials or alien races that are existing in our cities will then come to the surface, and will take out the destructive technology that humans have left behind. So that's shutting down the nuclear power plants, shutting down the oil rigs, and all the other stuff.
How long has that timer been on? There's a real question, real quick. How long has that timer been on?
I activated the timer on December 21st
of last year.
2012.
Yep.
2021.
Oh,
2021.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
2021.
But is that Gregorian calendar? Or what calendar is that?
That's on the current calendar. What we're using?
Yeah. What's his name? The Emperor. Julius. The Julius calendar. So yours is on the because I don't want to get right down the wrong thing.
So it's just the common calendar that Windows uses, December 21st. So just whichever calendar you use. On the winter solstice, the timer was activated.
So the timer's been on for about 5 months.
Because it's important.
And are the only ones who controls that timer? Who originally placed that grid and timer? Is in the chat.
My cluster did when we established the protections for Earth.
Okay, I like to get the people in the chat involved. That's why I
absolutely, and I like that you're able to keep track of it, because I can't watch the chat very well, because I'm looking at your faces and engaging with your facial reactions and
I'm handsome
and your emotional connections. Absolutely.
But now
the Scandinavian blood is always
can another of your species override you and turn that timer off?
They won't.
They won't. So
the particular reason I've been sent is because of the need for
all of you have to obey by the decision by one of you.
So what we have within our cluster is that anyone in our cluster has the ability to overrule a decision by anyone else in our cluster, right? And we do that through our interactions with each other. It's that, collectively, with diversity of thought and diversity of specializations, like if the four of us are a cluster, the three of you, have a collection of information from the totality of your life experiences and everything that you know. So the three of you have more knowledge at your disposal than the other one. So you could override a decision of that one.
Yeah,
so the cluster has the ability. Yeah. So the cluster has the ability to override a decision from anyone. So no one person can do anything without approval. We've gone back and forth on negotiations with this seriously for the last 15 years, arriving at a point of determination that the optimal circumstance is that if the governments of the world don't take the offer necessary to save all of humanity, then 99% of humanity being wiped out, and we just preserve a small area.
But see, I don't think that's fair. And the reason I don't think it's fair is because the government only cares about themselves and power. They're not going to take your offer.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is,
we're not working with the United States government.
Oh, whoa. Okay, here we go.
What are you working with?
So here, let me go with something here. So information that doesn't get distributed for the United States, so a lot they miss out on. The United States is actually the villain of the story. Okay, the United States government, the way that they run things, the social engineering and all that stuff. But let's go with this. Just like on the, we've talked about how much the animal populations have been destroyed. So let's talk about carbon emissions for just a moment.
Okay.
If you look at the whole thing on carbon emissions, the narrative that's going around the United States is that China and India are worse than the United States is. Okay. So let's look at the numbers for 2016. India had 2.5 million kilotons. China had 10.4 million kilotons, and the USA had 4.8 million kilotons of carbon emissions. But when you break those down by population densities, India only had 1.9 metric tons of carbon emissions per capita, 1.9 for India.
China makes a lot of stuff.
7.38 for China. United States, 15.24 per capita.
Wow.
The United States is the worst carbon offender in the world, but it gets worse than that. There are over 1,000. What was that?
What's carbon emission?
Carbon emissions are produced by burning fossil fuels, manufacturing processes. Whenever you take something through processes where it gets heated and stuff, carbons get into the atmosphere. The carbon in the atmosphere is heat trapping. So it's like, in winter, when you have a clear day, it gets really cold, but when the clouds are there, it traps the heat so it doesn't get really cold. The carbon in the atmosphere is starting to cause that blanket effect.
Carbon does that.
Yes.
Hey, now somebody wrote, "What about the protectors?"
The hell.
So
we are the protectors. That's what the function of our grid is. That's what
here's
the
a deep
function
question.
of this is.
And then here's a deep question. You're the protectors.
Carbon.
If you're the protectors, then what is the most simple question in the world? Then what is God?
He's not carbon emission. I'll tell you that.
So if we're talking about the modern concept that's being pushed by religion, God is an energy web that's been established by the Catholic Church in order to commit vampirism on the population.
I knew it.
Yeah, but every religion has their version of God, so not just the Catholic Church.
Okay, so give me just a moment and I'll walk you through it.
Okay.
All right. The ones who are really latched onto the Judeo-Christian system, in the modern Western version of religion, they say God. They don't say gods. They have this monotheistic concept, which was actually a creation of the Catholic Church. If you have studied, if you're going to be in the Judeo-Christian thing and you want to go into the Bible and you want to study the Talmud and the Pentateuch and the Old Testament stuff and the New Testament stuff, there are over 100 verses in there citing multiple gods, citing the existence of multiple gods. And when you point that out to any of them, they go, oh, wait, I need to come up with an excuse. They're talking about idols. Okay, then let's go to the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not commit idolatry is a separate commandment from thou shalt not have any other gods before me.
Wow.
Separate. the existence of other gods, and for the Jewish people to be told, within your bloodline, we are the ones to whom you owe your deference and your obedience. The instructions that we give you, you need to follow for the sake of maintaining the integrity of your race of people. That's what thou shalt have no other gods before me means. We take priority, listen to the instructions we're giving you. Not committing idolatry is not dispersing your energies to symbols of other things that go out onto an energy web that can be hijacked by someone else.
Right.
Okay. Scripturally, all the documentation is there on the Jewish people having their own pantheon and every other race having their own pantheon. They acknowledge the gods of all the Babylonians and the Egyptians and everything else. It's in the scripture. Okay. Every single person running, every pastor running every church in the United States does not read any of the scriptures from the Bible that conflict with the monotheistic concept that they're telling. But how many times a year do they read that faith seed, give your money thing to their crowd?
Somebody wrote, can I send other people the email you sent me? So apparently you sent Crawley an email. Can he send an email out to the people?
Yeah. If he wants to get other people involved in that research.
There's a question I do have to ask, but Connor, is that a poster of you in the background?
It looks like the poster of a bobblehead.
Yeah.
That's from the Bigfoot or is that a poster?
Yeah. It's a poster. It's from the Bigfoot conference.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That looks awesome.
Yeah. And thank you for asking, Crowley. Yeah, you can absolutely disseminate that information. And if you want to give people the link for that G drive, you can do that as well. So the G drive contains the documentation archive from when the U.S. government attempted to assassinate me in 1991.
I believe it.
Here's a simple question. Simple. What if I ask you, Nas? I go, what if I tell you, I want to live. I don't want to die. Can you change it just for me, or is it you already made your decision?
Oh, you don't want to be Eric.
So here's the thing: is that the full grid shutdown resulting in all humans being wiped out is the default system that's in place. That's my dead man switch. Essentially, this is to stop the U.S. government from coming in and terminating me while I'm doing the project I'm doing.
And that's on the Julian calendar, guys. So make sure you guys know the right calendar. Yeah, the Julian calendar.
So,
I wrote that down.
Yeah. So the situation that we're looking at is back in 1991, they attempted to assassinate me. Now, when they did this, my base station that's in Chehalis, it did a projection of the termination, and it activated other copies of me. Other avatars, which are duplicates of me, who came to the location, and they interfered with this 6-week operation that the police were doing to try to assassinate me. 6 law enforcement agencies were involved in this. And Crowley has the G drive with the document.
So were you hiding for 6 weeks?
Hold on. No. 6 people of looking like you, like DNA.
So no.
People.
There were 6 law enforcement agencies that were involved in the assassination attempt on me, and they killed 10 other people in the process of trying to control this.
Now,
did you go to their funerals?
How did they know? No. Okay, I'm trying to understand this. So 1991, they attempted to kill you. Of course, you're on social media. You're on YouTube. How do they know who you are? And if they did attempt to kill you, why aren't they still not trying to kill you now? Especially now, they can see that you're on social media, and you just told all of us that you're in Ireland.
Yep. They know exactly where I am. So what's going on is that when they attempted to kill me in 1991, they were interfered with by one or more of my duplicates when they tried to carry out this big entrapment scenario that they took 6 weeks to set up. Now, these people are the assassination squad that kills Celestials all over the world to prevent them from doing exactly what I'm doing right now.
Is it the Men in Black?
Because the information that I'm distributing will completely eliminate their power. There will be no religious power.
This is like Highlander, and you're the guy from Highlander. Yeah.
So with that situation, they operate all around the world to assassinate celestials so that they don't come up to a position of coming out of hibernation and distributing this information.
Yeah.
So when they set up that thing and they tried to carry it out, they had multiple police surveillance teams that were trying to monitor what I was doing on May 31st, 1991, interacting with my friends. So in the archive that Crowley has there, between the police reports of the different surveillance teams and witness statements of some of the other witnesses, they actually have me documented in 2 different places at the same time.
Would they have
under surveillance by authorities?
Why are they trying to kill you now?
Yeah, and what was the setup?
That's what we're getting to. They tried to set up a conspiracy to commit murder situation where they could get me into a kill box where they had over a dozen officers with machine guns ready to put me in the crossfire. And the other me kept me out of the kill box. She manipulated it to keep me out of the kill box.
Just rush the bullets.
No.
You're celestial, man. Come on.
You didn't do a Neo. I got arrested outside of it. Didn't need to.
I thought you did a Neo.
No, the other me put someone in place there to make sure that the car got turned around elsewhere. So this is where the situation gets worse.
Last Starfighter. Starfighter. Remember Last Starfighter remember he went off to fight and then he left that perfect clone.
And he touched the robot, and then the robot made his body while he saves the world. They think he's still on Earth.
He's still exactly the same guy.
Yeah. So biological duplicates that are avatars, just like this body is. So with that situation, when they didn't get the kill, the problem is that these guys are used to getting their kill every time they go out to do it. Like I said, they killed 10 other people associated with this circumstance to try to control the information on me. But because they didn't get the kill on me, they didn't control the information on all the other law enforcement officers that were involved making their reports that established that there was more than me there at the time. They created official public-facing records of the existence of celestials. Not just that, but the informant that they were operating at the time was wearing a wire. And the transceiver recordings, my friends were talking about me using my abilities. Yeah. So the authorities not just had the statements from official law enforcement officers, but the transceiver recordings.
Here's a question Island wrote. If Alliance is so powerful, why all the dunking and diving? Do what you have to do and show them you have the power.
Right. Yep. So this is what we're looking at, is that I'm going to be showing the EU Commission. Right. Like I said, I'm getting the video recordings from some of the other witnesses involved here. But like I said, the recordings that Crowley has in the archive from the wire that the informant wore, my friends are openly talking about me using my celestial powers. Within those recordings. So what we're looking at is that when this happened, I was arrested and taken into juvie while they tried to figure out how to operate a cover up. But the other me that was there was taken to a government black site. And she was experimented on for 15 years before they killed her.
They're still being controlled by the same dragon, right? The same dragon. Okay.
Yeah. My same origin form.
Somebody wrote, do you have the names of the 10 people that died?
I do actually. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So all of the people that they killed in the process of doing this. So part of it was that one of my friends, Mark Wood, was the one that they tried to center this around, was the killing of his parents. And he communicated with a social worker about the problems that were going on.
I know the story. This is the story that's in the Seattle area about a person tried to kill another kid's parents, and that person got arrested.
It was back in 1991, where there was the 3 teenagers involved in a conspiracy to commit murder to kill the 2 parents of one of the kids, and there was an informant that was involved. That is this case. I'm the one that was supposed to be the trigger.
That's your story?
That is my story.
I didn't know
that. Remember, it got on a current affair. It was national news at the time, which is why it was a nightmare for the assassins, because of how much media attention was on it. If they allowed it to get to an evidentiary hearing with all the national news attention that was on it, then the police reports coming out proving there were 2 of me there, and the wiretap recordings with them talking about me using my abilities meant that the United States would have been subjected to the proof of the existence of Celestials in 1991, and that the U.S. government was running a hit squad.
Yeah.
Crowley has that archive. He has that evidence.
Okay. Hey, Crowley, you got to send me that.
Yeah. So what we're talking about with that circumstance is that they took Veronica, the duplicate that was there.
Yeah,
they took her off to one of the government black sites, and they were torturing her for 15 years till they killed her. And they had me in prison, and they thought they won. Right? They blackmailed the attorneys, the judges, and everything were involved. They didn't win, but I let them think they won. Now, while I was in prison, while I was in prison, I kept doing other things, and there was other stuff that happened.
You got the grid.
Yeah, I got the grid, and my ship detected that one of the other royal family was going to be killed.
Look,
so
I found the story. It's right there. Exactly what you're saying is right here.
Yeah, that's one of the articles from it. Yeah. That's when I was testing the legal system, because within the prison system they were not providing treatment to transgender individuals. Right.
Sure.
And under constitutional law, they have to provide treatment for any diagnosed medical condition.
Bastards.
Right. And because they weren't doing that, then I was doing a legal challenge to the way the Washington State DOC was operating, in order to establish, essentially the whole time I've been operating, first back in 1991, I tested the law enforcement system to see how just they were, right? And then I tested the criminal law system to see how just that was. Then when I was in prison, I tested the civil rights system, where I was filing lawsuits for other people and I was handling their criminal appeals and stuff like that. Wow. And I was testing the civil rights system of the US government
They failed.
And they failed. And I actually got involved in some other stuff that actually changed federal law and got things into the US Supreme Court.
So you got your shots. You got your shots.
Yeah. The first time I ever visited Seattle was 1995. And I remember this story and stuff when I visited the Coast Guard. Took me to Seattle, 1995. Wow.
Well, I mean, we might not look like it. Again, we had a brother that was in transition, so we're aware of the whole thing. So we're not rude. We know what you're going. We know
you understand. Yeah,
we understand. Believe me.
Yeah, your family. Yeah. So with that process is that I let them think that they won with the 1991 case, that they silenced me. And I created all sorts of digital footprints to make them think that they drove me crazy and all sorts of stuff like that. I was in a long run counterintelligence game, right? Oh, yeah. So they didn't know that I still had this archive, that I had the proof of what they didn't want to come forward to the world, that I have the cassette tapes from the transceiver recordings from the Wire the Informant War, which I digitized, and those are in the archive that Crowley has as well.
Wow, man! You didn't do it on 8-track. You should have did it on a reel-to-reel.
So the thing you said that what's his name has? I'm sorry. Crowley has that. What he has, he said he could send out an email. Is that proof of that? I don't know.
That
proof. That's something he can show me, and there's some proof. I like what you're saying. It is the old question. Like the question is why do I feel like I should believe you? Like it's like the magic trick. Show us the magic right in front of us, like right here, right now.
Right. Well, I mean, like if you wanted to see the microscope stuff again, I could show you that. But you saw that on the Chad Smith thing, right?
Yeah. No. I mean. So like can somebody reach you privately? Like, say somebody in the chat wants to talk to you privately, so you can convince them.
Right.
You don't have a social media channel, right? You don't.
Right. I don't create social media content except if I'm putting something out specifically to test and gauge a reaction, because I'm monitoring human consciousness and their reaction to things. But if they go to the YouTube channel that has the same name as me, there is a link for the Discord that'll take them into a Discord server where people can reach me from there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, going back to everything that we heard so far, if the government ain't going to decide to do the change that you're going to offer them, we're basically we're goners.
We're dead.
And
this is what I'm looking at on the second thing, and it's kind of going to be a matter of momentum, because right now I provided the information. So in the email that I sent you, one of the attachments is the notice I provided to the EU Commission, right, where I explained the immediate threat that the U.S. government is creating with their partnership with the shadow government.
Yeah.
How it's going to result in destruction of the planet,
Illuminati,
and the series of technologies that I will guide them through the development of that will let them counter that threat, take control of the global commerce market, and take control, be essentially the only superpower remaining would be the EU. So that they could prevent any similar threats from rising in the future,
I guess that's
and
right
that we can move forward in that.
Good.
Thank you, Nightmare.
Good.
So let me. God damn it! You know, I had a thought. In my head.
So you had
the
the question on humanity surviving is that if the EU Commission does not take up the charge on that, and they just say we're afraid of the United States, we're not going to do anything with it, then I'm prepared to offer these technological resources, the informational resources, to any other nation that will, outside of like China, Russia, North Korea.
Mexico.
Obviously,
What about
I'm not
Mexico?
going to give it
Okay,
to.
so this is the link that he put in the chat. So this link here,
Celestial Alliance. That's right. When you see the icon is the same as mine for chat.
so this is yours.
So, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then this is, I guess somebody will use this to sign up to be a member. And then
you
that's
accept the invite. That link is like an invite link, and then you accept the invite, and then you're with NOS, and you get inside information. So I just joined.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Wow.
so that's an invite to the Discord server where I can connect with people if they want to set up channel, have me come to a show, or I can provide, links to documentation. There's a little bit more information in there with that stuff.
I am human. I like that question.
Yeah, NOS. Do you fail that test?
Yeah,
I always fail it.
can't
I
talk
always
about
fail
it.
that.
Yeah.
Hey, do you have some
That's
good information on like the Mayans and maybe some other lost civilizations? And were you guys responsible for, Tartaria being flooded out with mud? And what do you have on the access points to the inner cities too? I'm interested in all of that.
The access points. So here's one of the things that we're looking at. I could actually show you some really interesting stuff on a map. But like our nodes and our underground cities, the gravitational anomalies they create are what in old terms got translated as ley lines. Right?
Ley lines.
So the nexus points that they create with their crossovers.
What's a ley line?
It's just the point where the gravitational anomalies that are of our grid, the protection grid that keeps Earth from.
I thought you said get laid lines, like got laid lines. I'm like,
no.
The places where you lay the chick. I'm like, that's the magic spot. The lay lines.
And the grid is more than just a keep out sign. The gravitational emissions that they create are essentially our version of internet. They're the celestial archive.
This is weird, Nas. I'm signing up to that thing, and it says my email address already exists.
Huh?
Oh, you're signing up for Discord. You're not signing on to the server.
Oh.
You click to sign up for Discord instead of just entering the server.
Oh, okay. I'm bad. You're right.
Yeah.
We don't know anything. We're not smart.
But if the EU Commission doesn't take the offer that's been provided to them, then my backup plan is to go to Scandinavia and get Norway, Sweden, Denmark to be the coalition I give the technologies to. And in that circumstance, most likely what's going to happen is that as I make them the superpower for that, the other countries are going to get really butthurt that they don't have access to that technology. They're going to want to stir things up. That's going to require some shows of force. And we'll end up shutting down the grid, and all the rest of the countries around the world will get harvested. But the Scandinavians will be the ones that survive Ragnarok.
Now, if you were to bring back slavery, which nationality would you want to be like your slave? without being like racist or anything. I mean, this is kind of
No,
because you're celestial.
we don't have a use for slavery.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
There's a difference between being a person in control and being a person who is accountable.
Okay.
And that's the problem with all the leaders that are in place now, is that like the people that call themselves royals are obsessed with power and control. They are false royals.
Yeah.
The function of a royal is stewardship. It's supposed to be servant leadership.
Yeah.
Your job is to ensure the growth of everyone else that you are accountable for. That's the function of power.
Very
so
good.
when it comes to people that provide you service, people that do things for you as a person in power, they should want to do things for you because you are worthy of them offering their service. There is no need for slaves. There is no need for the authority, for the command at all if you are a competent leader, because people volunteer to serve.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't want to clean the toilets or dig ditches, but I'm with you on everything else.
Well, I agree with Alan wrote.
That's what the Mexicans
realize they are all controlled by the corporations at the top. Politicians are only there to make it all legal for them. And that's basically true. They're there to make their friends stay rich.
Yeah. So the United States entered its failure when it passed Citizens United. So Citizens United allowed America to go from a theocracy to a theocratic corporatocracy. So the corporations own the politicians now. The politicians are not going to do anything that's against the corporations. Like, even though they had the hearings establishing that Facebook was in violation, of antitrust laws on monopoly and was not allowed to be that large, they never did any follow-up to actually break Facebook into smaller companies.
Yeah.
And Facebook has continued to buy other companies like Oculus and other things like that, expanding itself, even though Congress already declared they were too large and needed to be broken apart. And they are doing absolutely nothing about it. So the United States government has surrendered to the corporatocracy.
Oh, of course.
So you have actually the both sides, where you have the military-industrial complex, and then you have the capitalist corporatocracy, who have both taken control.
Well, let me ask you something simple. Why even come here, Chad's channel, some other channels, to even tell us all of this? I mean, is there a reason why you're telling us? Are you hoping that they hear this through us?
So there is a lot of good reason behind it, and this is also part of why I don't maintain my own social media channels, because I'm providing alternatives. So when I was brought out of hibernation and I was given this mission and stuff connected to all the documentation I had preserved and everything else, because I'm the one that was prepped for this circumstance that we're in now. So the circumstance that we're in is that the United States government has been experimenting with reverse engineering alien technology for the last 80 years. And they are really shitty with it because they don't understand the physics at all. No. They're just Mickey Mousing parts together, taking readings to try to figure out what's there and trying to replicate that. But they don't actually know any of the math. They don't know the physics for the relativity fields. So the vehicles they've created, the ARVs, are defective. Okay.
Yeah.
And the manner in which they are defective is such that if one of them is destroyed when it has particular things active, it can result in a cascade event that causes a demolecularization wave.
That's a lot of words, man.
And a demolecularization wave. So, knock on the table in front of you, right?
Yes.
You've got that solid material. Every molecule that's there is bonded to every other molecule next to it. Okay. Oh. You've got the four fundamental forces that are involved with molecular physics, with everything being bonded. A demolecularization wave that hits it removes the bond between those materials. So if it wasn't
boson particle, like the boson particle?
No, it's worse than that. It's like antimatter without the energy emissions.
Okay, without the God particle.
Yeah, without that. Yeah. So this is So with antimatter, instead of electrons, you have positrons. Okay, it's another form of power system. But if antimatter collides with matter, they both destroy each other. But you have a fission reaction. There's a lot of power that's released. It's bad, bad, bad.
So they're pretty big then. They're pretty big.
But with this reaction, well, they're still small. But with this reaction, what we're talking about is
How
a
does it make that much power? It's
neutralization.
really small.
That's what fission does. That's what they do with.
I thought you said
reaction.
fishing. I thought you said you went fishing. I was like, what are you?
No.
Okay, fishing, fusion. Okay.
Fusion is combining together. Fission is breaking apart.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still stuck at fission. Okay.
That's all right. So with the demolecularization wave, you break the molecular bonds between the components, right? Like if you hit your desk with just a wave of that, it would turn into total dust.
Yeah.
Just complete breakdown, dust, right? Ultrafine dust, gone. But with the cascade wave that can be triggered by these failing fields, the demolecularization will spread. Okay.
That's deep,
so one of these ARVs being detonated can dust an entire city, which includes all the people, all the buildings, everything. The crater that it leaves behind, the wind just catches all those ultrafine dust particles and blows them away. Everyone just totally gone in an instant.
Get rid of Canada.
Nothing
Get rid of Canada. We don't need Canada. Test it.
If the detonation that happens is a little bit larger, it will eat a hole through a tectonic plate, and then the force of the core of the Earth's magma is released as the greatest supervolcano in history. The atmosphere is filled with toxic fumes. The sun is blocked out. All life on the planet extinguished.
Tectonic processes.
But the greatest effect that happens with it is that if it triggers a continuous wave, then the demolecularization process will not just spread across the surface of the planet, but down to the core. And when the Earth's gravitational field is destroyed in that fashion, the Earth is going to rip itself apart, and it's just going to turn into a dust cloud in space. That's all that will be left.
Do we go to heaven?
Or
Valhalla? Where are we going to go? Where you want to go? Where are we going?
Are
we going to meet the ruler of Betos?
The outcomes will be different depending on the.
Or do the Mormons have it right the whole time?
No. But the circumstance that we're looking at is that the technology they have right now, they don't understand the physics. They don't know how to stabilize it. So there is a very real threat right now of the United States utilizing their ARVs to fake an alien invasion.
Yeah.
Right. And by them faking an alien invasion and then using their advanced warplanes to stop the invasion, they convince the world, look, we had to keep it secret that we had our advanced warplanes and our advanced ultrasonic weaponry that we use to take these aliens out. We're the only ones that can be trusted to protect the world because, nobody else in any country is able to keep their technology secret. If anyone else has this technology, it'll be leaked. And do you want Pakistan or Iraq or North Korea to get access to this technology? Because that'll happen.
Fuck them.
Right. So everyone would say, no. Okay, you guys managed to keep it secret the whole time that you had the technology to stop the aliens. We have to trust you for that, which is the whole reason they founded the Space Force in preparation for this, so that they have a force that can be determined as the recipients for the capital from all the other countries of the world to fund the Earth Defense Force under Space Force, which is just then used for used for developing more of these things and having authorization to set up military bases all around the planet under the guise of housing the Earth Defense Force under the Space Force, which is really just then staging so that once they have those in place at any moment, they could give the order, okay, we're taking control. And 60 seconds later, they could launch their ships out and destroy every capital city and every major city in the world within 60 seconds of the order being given.
Let me ask you this. Throughout the show, you talk about, America is basically the most evil country in the world, with the missions and all that.
It's the failure that's bringing about the necessity for intervention.
Instead of punishing the whole world, why not just punish the United States? Just make the United States people disappear and don't punish the rest of the world. Because if you get rid of
Well,
us,
that's
then
no,
But
that's
not me and Eric or Connor.
but okay.
Yeah,
So that's
not me or Eric or Connor.
in another country. But
so that's the plan is actually to be able to preserve the population. So like if you go into the
I got a couple
document, let
X's
me-
you can make disappear.
right. So like in that thing, where did I put that? So in the email that you received, that you sent me the link from, in the attachments on there, let's see, it is.
I'm sorry, what are we looking at?
Okay. Oh, I'm just trying to figure out which document. There we go. So in the email that you have from the stuff that I sent on the congressional hearing that was happening, attachment 6 is actually the letter that I had submitted to the IPO Commission that tells the EU Commission what I'm offering with technology and everything,
United
and
Nations.
essentially explains how we're going to go about establishing that the United States is violating all of their treaties and terms with development and usage of this technology, and getting justification for a blockade against America. And by establishing the blockade, it removes the capital that the United States is filtering to their ARV program. It removes their ability to deploy these weapons all around the globe. And when America's economy collapses and the military industrial complex collapses under it, then the individual states group together to form their nation states, like Washington, Oregon, California. They all those governors have already been working together in preparation of forming Pacifica as a new nation.
What about
Also
Florida?
with the bloodlines, right?
Connor's
The
from
bloodlines.
Florida. Are they working on it too?
Oh,
I don't know what they're doing with their organization over there.
Connor, you got to look. You got
Oh,
to find
Tom
out for us,
DeLonge.
Connor.
Tom DeLonge. Have you met Tom DeLonge?
No.
Oh, I want to ask him some. Well, because if you can connect with Tom DeLonge, you can hook him up over here on our show. That'd be kind of cool.
So Nas, did you watch any of that congressional thing that went on yesterday with UFO?
Yeah, I watched it. It was perfect.
It was perfect.
Good.
It was perfect. It was because it was exactly what I expected. You know,
Perfect.
in my letter to the European Strategic Intelligence Services, I explained what they were going to do at the hearing before they did the hearing. I
Good.
provided them documentation, background on what was going to happen, why it
Put
was
a
going
little
to happen,
fear into him.
and, and showed the connection to the stuff.
little
So
fear
it
inside of
was absolutely. But in the documentation, essentially the point is that showing them, look, we're going to have to blockade the United States. We remove their financial resources. And because they've eliminated their manufacturing for all the staples that they need going from daily life and everything, they're importing everything from China, right?
Yeah.
So when the blockade happens of the United States, then all these regular resources aren't available anymore either, right?
Right.
So they can't replace their computers. They don't have textile industry anymore. They can't make their own cloth, any of that stuff. So the United States has to stop dumping all their money into military, and they have to start putting their time and resources into creating infrastructure and surviving in that capacity. And that's
Growing
like
marijuana.
Yeah, but you don't have to. Biden will destroy USA first.
Yeah. How are you dealing with that? I mean, do you visit him, or how do you do that?
No, I'm not interested in Ugly Kid Joe.
Okay.
Do you have ability? Because somebody in the chat lives in Australia, and right now Australia is going through major floods. If you wanted to,
Oh God.
if you wanted to, could you actually stop the floods in
Well,
Australia?
he's the one doing it.
Ability.
If I was there, I could do it. Yeah.
Well, you're the one doing it, right? You're the one.
No,
you're
that's
creating.
no
You're
the climate change cycles with extreme weather events right now are the result of the actions of humans. But I do have meteorological control as one of the things in my ability.
Oh, so
set,
you can
which
fix
is-
it if you wanted
Fix
to.
that.
Yeah.
man.
Fix it. You have
Australia is
to.
nice.
Australia. You can't do it from Ireland.
Yeah, I would need to be there at the hub of it. So it's weather systems on the globe are really finicky because of the patterns and curves and everything that things follow. So kind of like when you shoot a bullet from a long ways away, if you just have 1/10 of 1 degree of variation, where that bullet ends up is going to be far off.
Wow.
Right? And so, if you think about the weather systems and the air flows all around the earth, you have all the different layers of atmosphere, one over the other, that are all flowing in their own swirls and patterns.
Yeah.
And if you want to control the weather in a particular area, if you are 10,000 miles away and you want something to happen over there, right? The ball that you have to let loose to make it land in the right place over there,
your ball,
is extreme, very hard, all of that ridiculousness. But if I was there in person, especially if I got any others there, that ball would be
sound like a
balls in Australia.
But I do want to ask this. Somebody wrote, "Can you tell me the lottery numbers?" I'm in Glasgow, Scotland.
Oh,
Glasgow.
So technically,
that would disrupt the system, probably.
Can you tell people future things that are going to happen?
Oh,
I mean, it might not be the lottery, but
don't do it.
Future things are a thing that we do. Part of it from because we went through it before. Part of it from connecting to the fate lines, and that's part of the vulva magic, which I do that stuff. But like lottery numbers, that's one of those those are too easy to alter. You're
messing with the timeline. You're tampering in the timeline.
Tampering in the timeline. Well, that's one of the things that I'm doing is like this technology that I'm offering, like the technology that I have access to control of. If I were to capitalize that, I would be the wealthiest person in the world 1,000 times over.
Like Elon Musk.
No, I would have 1,000
Are you better
times
than
the
Elon?
money. I would have 1,000 times the money that Elon Musk has.
What do you think about Elon Musk? If you guys were to go toe to toe, head to head, like face to face, because he thinks he's number one, like he's the Neo in the Matrix, but you are. What would you say to Elon if he was watching right now?
I would tell him that if he wants to develop this technology and control it, we need to set up a base of operations in the EU to do that.
Wow.
And I'll cut him in on the process. Well, he has access to establishing the manufacturing facilities and all that other stuff.
Fuck.
And when it comes to Elon, he has some behavioral issues that need to be addressed.
What?
Okay. He has some ethical problems.
What is it?
The ethical problems that he has come from the circle of people that he surrounds himself with.
Who?
Okay?
What's he doing?
I
don't like that.
So like trying to
with Zane Maxwell for one.
Okay.
Like trying to take control of a town so that he could, just move in all of his business people there and stuff like that.
Here's a question for you from BF Bud. Why does Nas stay here on Earth? If I had the ability, I'll be flying everywhere else.
Fuck yes.
I'm here right now because this is the assignment. I'm the only one that can do a planet termination.
Oh, you got to. Okay.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Species termination.
That's right.
Yeah.
So did somebody? So you didn't create the assignment. Somebody gave you the assignment. So that means there's somebody higher than you.
No, this is so our collection of all of our ships that work together to create the protection grid for the planet is also an artificial intelligence network that's taking all the information that comes in, making the projections for what's happening with the planet so that it can warn us of what's going on. And when we have someone seed into a life here, we have them live a life that's designed to prepare them for one of many of the potential outcomes that could happen in the course of their life. Awesome. So that they would have the abilities and information at their fingertips so that when a specific threat happens, we can say, okay, this person's being brought out of hibernation. Remember who you are, gain control of your abilities. Okay, the threat that you were put here to address, it's time for you to address that.
Nice. There you go.
That's what I'm doing. So with mine, obviously redrawing the lines of nations and the threat to the entire planet and restructuring the entire balance of power for the planet has to go to one of the royals.
Now, here's the ultimate question, and I'm not reading this just to read this, but somebody wrote something in the chat. I'm curious. In 1971, Robbie wrote, "I'm totally a believer in the paranormal, but the bullshit this dude is spreading is giving me a headache." How would you convince a guy like?
Oh,
hold on, I'm asking this on question.
They don't know he's got the button.
But how would you make 1971 Robbie? How would you change his mind to believe what you're saying? Like if you're talking individually,
I wouldn't.
You want it?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
So, like I said, so I've got the witnesses to my abilities, and I'm going to be getting their statements. If I get myself in controlled environment for the EU Commission or Scandinavia or whatever, we're going to be able to do all the stuff, as far as establishing my abilities. We've got the documentation archive. I can prove that the United States government knew about powered people and was actively trying to assassinate them. I've got the records. I've got the documentation.
Tried to kill you too.
So when it comes to people making statements like that guy is saying, what he's actually saying is that there's someone that's expressing something where they have more power than I have with my entitled expectations. And it scares me for something like that to exist that I can't know about, that I can't control, and saying that I don't have any control of the outcome of this, because I expect to be factored into everything that happens in my life and to have influence on the other people around me at all times. Right? We know this person has not looked at any of the evidence. They just made a declaratory statement that none of the evidence exists, that none of the evidence is real. They made an assumption. Because their ego was hurt by the very existence of this, they just outed themselves as making a declaratory statement that in and of itself is false, because we know they can't know without being subjected to it. So they just outed themselves as someone who is ignorant. And this is something you have to expect when going into my line of work, which is why I do the test social media things here and there to look at human responses and to gauge how it comes and how it rolls around.
But how about looking at it this way? I mean, ignorant is a hard word. I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but if I was somebody in the chat and I've heard you listen the whole night and you talk about how the planet might end because the government's not taking
it's a bit overwhelming. A little bit overwhelming.
So in a lot of ways, people are afraid now. Because if we believe you,
I'm a little bit nervous.
We know the government's not going to sign up for it. That means we're dead.
And you can kill us. So
the U.S. government is not going to be on board.
This might sound weird. This might sound so weird. In a lot of ways, we hope you're lying to us, because otherwise we're going to die, because we know the government's not going to accept your technology because they're too dumb.
You got that power. You should do it now.
That's what I said, that he was acting out of fear.
Get it over with.
So the situation that we're looking at is that, like, doing these shows and going on and doing this stuff, is that when it comes down the road and the evidence starts to get processed by people and they look at it and they see the evidence of the cover up and they see the other things are there and they go, holy crap, this is real. Then what we're doing is a frog in a pot situation. Right? We're slowly turning up the water so people have the chance to become acclimated to the possibility of it, where it starts off as a no way, this can't be real, to going, wow, this documentation establishes what you were saying. And then the technological testing comes in and says, okay, here are the witnesses that are talking about you using healing abilities and you using weather control stuff and all of this. And then it gets back to the point of going, we've just tested and verified the existence of the grid, which means that the Earth is under threat. We need to take this seriously. And from that point, when that happens, everyone's going to be going back and they're going to be hunting on YouTube for all of these videos where I came and appeared on channels like this. And the number of views that you're going to get, not just on the videos where I present, but they're going to see you guys interacting. They're going to get familiar with your personalities and other places where you interact, and they're going to spread out from there. And, like I've been over on Alien Girl and Josh and Artemis on UFO Garage and the Chad Smith podcast, Oracles and Beyond, and all of these places where I've done these things. So when the world goes looking at those videos they're going to get familiar with those personalities and this entire community that has accepted the existence of the paranormal, that has accepted the existence of extraterrestrials and life that is greater than human life. And they're going to see that it is okay and acceptable to embrace those things. You're not a freak. You're not weird. And that has the potential to change the consciousness for the entire planet. Now, so what I'm doing right here has the potential to do that.
Now, Nas, here's a guy that we respected in the chat. His name's Flat Rock. He's well respected in the Bigfoot community. Mm-hmm. He wrote, "Why do witness statement? Can you show us live or in video real proof?"
That would be cool as fuck.
Right.
You could do it easy.
Just so on video itself, it wouldn't be proof. I would just you can fake anything with video nowadays. Right.
That's true.
I have Unreal Engine on my computer, which I can use to create environments and settings and cause effects and all that other stuff. And I've had my Unreal Engine account for, like 6 or 7 years at this point. So all those records are going to establish, oh, this is a person that uses Unreal Engine. They've done the lessons, video game development, environmental creation, causing effects, all of that kind of stuff. That information gets released to the public. It doesn't matter what I've done on video. Everyone says this person is trained to create false videos and false effects. That then creates the doubt. And then we have a circumstance where as soon as you have something like that happens, people commit to a decision. They decide whether they believe it or not. And whatever the outcome is, whenever a person makes a decision, then overcoming that decision causes cognitive dissonance.
That's brilliant.
Right? Well, the amount of evidence that they need to get past it.
We got about 3 minutes left. So let's do this. Let's do this. Nas, what do you need from us and the people in the chat to help you so we don't die? What do you need?
We don't want to die.
How can we help you?
We want to help. We want to be your friend.
Right. Well, what we need to do is start getting circumstances set up where people are able to be subjected to information. Circumstances. Where people can be subjected to the information, because if we start getting this information out on a lot of channels and we start looking at the evidence from the 1991 case and stuff like that and putting it together, and we're spreading the information that, not just the United States is staging this stuff with the alien reproduction vehicles to do this false flag operation.
Yep.
Well, as soon as we have spread that far and wide and we have the momentum that's being picked up by the evidence trail of all the things leading up to it, because when I've said all this big stuff, then, when you prove one thing and then it leads into another and it starts leading into another and going on that momentum, people have to go, everything is leading to exactly what she said.
Exactly.
And from that circumstance, then people are going to be in a circumstance where the U.S. government cannot get away with pulling the false flag operation, because the volume of people that are going to be aware of this information negates that threat. And that's the whole reason I offered this to the EU in the first place, is to negate the threat the United States is causing with this technology. And by clarifying that I have the ability to give them the technological capability of tracking these machines, then we can prove the United States is using them, which means they have to shut them down or get blockaded by the rest of the countries in the world and lose their country.
Now,
that's what the purpose
wrote earlier in the chat, and I think I know the answer to this question, because he wrote, B.F. Bud wrote, why do aliens care about Earth human race anyway? That's because you planted us here.
I'm not
sure. You said you planted us here. And then somebody else wrote, where are all the duplicate selves now? Are all 10 still on Earth?
Well, there's more than 10, but yeah, my duplicates that use this same model of body are here in different places around the Earth. There are multiple individuals that have encountered those, which is also part of why I had to come forward and do this stuff now. The United States government doesn't have the centralized database. Where they have paired up the state identification systems as one central database with the face recognition, which most other countries do, by the way. But once they do that and they start doing the facial recognition on all the identities and making all the states one central database, they're going to be finding the me's all over the United States,
Yeah.
and they're going to be identifying them and taking them into their black ops places and earning more beatdown for the country.
I do want to say,
me and Eric aren't special enough for that.
I do want to say we are going to wind down right now. But I do want to say I appreciate you not shying away from the questions. I know some.
Thank you.
Like it might be directly, but you answered them. I mean, you answered, everything, even though some of the questions might look like it might have upset you or not. But you were.
Oh no, I don't get upset. It's completely expecting that thing to happen, but understanding the emotional motivations behind people that ask those questions.
Yeah.
Well, these are questions I think some channels are afraid to ask and stuff. Hey, if we're gonna die in years, I want to know why, what we need to do.
I'm gonna party like it's 1999.
Right. But that's exactly why we're doing what we're doing, because if we get this information out in the public eye correctly, then this community can do what none of the governments will. Now, this community can stop the threat that's.
But Nas, you do got to do something for me.
Mm-hmm.
You do got to take a trip to Discovery Plus and say, "Hey, fuckers, you need to give myself, Connor, Dr. Wu, our show, traveling around the world, investigating the unknown." And by doing that, by you convincing them,
do that for us.
Them about your story, and we can help you out while you help us out.
Right.
Ask the main dragon.
At the moment, I can't travel anywhere.
No, we're asking the main dragon, not you. Not you. We want to go. No, we're going past you. You're just a puppet.
Yeah.
Green dragon.
Yeah,
we want
going with my parent form.
Yes. But beyond that, I do appreciate you jumping on with us. That was pretty fun. I think it was pretty cool, and I do appreciate that. Do you, before I end the show, do you want to say any last things to anybody from us to the chat? You got the last word for tonight.
Oh, yeah. Never ask the government for disclosure. They have established that it is their professional job to keep information away from you. So the only thing that we can do is work together to create the disclosure ourselves. That's it. And as soon as we stop putting our energy toward the government and we put the energy into doing the work, that's what scares them the most.
Okay. Yeah. Well, everybody in the chat, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. You know, and I had a great time. This is kind of different, and I appreciate Nas coming up here and saying who he says he is, and I'm not here to tell you he is or not. That's up to you guys. That's up to you if you believe what you hear tonight, but I hope you listen. You were, at the end of the day, I don't want to die, but it is also entertaining.
I don't want to die.
Have fun. I don't want to die.
Well, maybe.
And all that.
Yeah.
But hopefully, maybe Nas heard us enough. Say, hey, you know what? Yeah. All you guys are all going to die, except for you three, and I can live with that. Now,
there are some exceptional contributor status things that are planned.
I get to pick my own wives.
But I am going to have a show tomorrow, guys. I said this whole week I'm doing it at noon this week. I'm just trying every show at noon this week. So I am going to have a show tomorrow at noon. Friday, Connor, you have a show coming up? Are you going to be doing anything coming out over the weekend?
Yeah, this weekend we are filming a movie for the video game Phasmophobia. I don't know if anybody played Phasmophobia through the pandemic, but it's a cooperative ghost hunting game. And a guy in Tallahassee actually got rights to make a movie. And, of course, they heard about me. So I'm playing the Mare, Mare. It's a type of, ghost zombie. So I'm super excited.
Are you serious? You're going to be the Mare?
And last weekend, we shot some test footage. And I have that over on my YouTube members only. So Terry Brown, BF Bud, go enjoy that footage. But I'm super excited. It's going to be directed by a female out of FSU, and then Jack, who made Zillafoot, is going to be the director of photography, so the guy behind the camera. And then Joe, the writer who got all the rights, he graduated from Full Sail. Definitely many connections. I'm just super excited to be part of it, and I'm going to bring my spooky atmosphere. But I'm hoping to go live, definitely on TikTok, but maybe even on YouTube, because it's going to be 10-hour days, and I'm just a ghost, so I'm going to be chilling. I'll be just smoking and filming, so I can't wait.
So Bob, you got a show coming up?
I don't know. Maybe no. Yeah, probably tomorrow after this. Yeah.
Well, beyond that, guys, everybody have a good night, and then hopefully we can all survive. And we're all going to be here tomorrow. That's just how it goes. Reach for the sky because you never know if tomorrow will be the last day.
We're gonna
beyond
die.
that, guys, have a good night.
We're gonna die.